I would observe that one of the great failings in this community over the past few years, in my view, no offense to the bishop or anybody here, has been the failure of our religious community in some of those communities to have that conversation.
Well, reconciliation is critical for our society. We can't have a society except that people are reconciled one to another. The mission of the church is to restore all people to unity with God and one another.
The Episcopal Church has been doing just that around the world, carrying out its mission of reconciliation, and in Cincinnati to begin the process of healing the racial conflicts troubling citizen life in the city. A community court of racial reconciliation was convened.
We're here today for the obvious reasons to be sure that we understand how important it is that those of us who are of like mind can bring about, hopefully, a start for reconciliation in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Following the South African model of truth-telling reconciliation, a master convener, Ohio Justice of the Supreme Court, Mr. Andy Douglas, presided over informal proceedings, a people's court, where citizens could fearlessly speak about their history and experiences.
Distinguished presenters and panels, ladies and gentlemen. Court is now in session. The Court of Reconciliation is now in session. All you who have business with the court shall draw nigh, and we will hear you without interruption, without debate, without recrimination, and above all, within the time limits of 3 minutes each.
In order to carry out the goals of reconciliation, the Institute utilized several methodologies: interfaith forums with scholars and lecturers, experts from local, state, and national government, and storytelling, the most powerful of all.
You go in department stores, you're constantly wondering, are they watching? Do they think I'm going to take something?
Well, the storytelling is probably the most interesting part of all, because it's not only the importance of telling your own story, but of having someone really listen intently, not just hear, but listen for understanding and to try and grasp the essence of what the storytelling is.
If people of faith won't embrace reconciliation, who will? This process of formal storytelling provided personal feelings of release for both listeners and tellers.
For all these years, I have tried to reconcile my horror at my father's membership in the Klan and my love for him.
We lived in a little small town outside of Birmingham, and late that night, thank God my father wasn't home, but late that night the Klan came with the rope to hang my father. And only my mother and my other siblings were there. After that, when he finally came home, we told him what had happened, and he fled north to Cincinnati and sent for us once he was able to get a job here.
I have felt ashamed and guilty about this for over 40 years.
Folks, this is what I mean about our lives are all intertwined together. And as long as when we share these kinds of stories and talk about the history, then we can begin to heal.
It isn't easy, but perhaps with the truth out in the open, I can begin to feel God's loving grace for me and for my father.
And beyond storytelling, the seminars and factual discussions also support racial reconciliation process. We discovered through the Institute that there are various perspectives on reconciliation.
There is a huge difference in perception of justice based on race.
Reconciliation is part of the law, but not a primary part of the law.
With white people, justice means a functioning legal system.
The primary part of the law, of course, is to punish and deter.
Many people in Cincinnati say that they want racial reconciliation. but they are unwilling to do the work. They're unwilling to expose their heart to make it happen.
Yet exposing the human heart is the challenge in Darfur, Kosovo, Rwanda, and Iraq. And across the globe, from Slovakia to South Africa to Australia and Greensboro, North Carolina. The challenge is to bridge the gap that divides